opportunity to all of you today. Not only to bring all of you together to learn from each other, but also to take advantage of some feedback that we've gotten over the past few years. And really structure this in-service day so that the content is much more focused and so that you have time to reflect and discuss upon what you've learned today, as well as the opportunity to get as much content as you can in for the day. Okay, so a couple of announcements. Mr. Monjan's last session of the day, session 4, green screening, is going to be canceled. So for those of you who were planning to attend the green screening session 4 from 2:15 to 3:15, can attend Mr. Monjan's first session of green screening, which is going to be from 1 to 2. Okay, attend that if you'd like, or take a look at our programs, which we have out in the lobby of the auditorium, and find some other open sessions and just kind of head on over to whatever session might interest you, okay? We apologize for the inconvenience for that. So as you enter your sessions for the day, you're going to, many of you are going to be using laptop computers. We just ask that as you complete the session, that you return the laptops to the laptop cart that you got it from and plug it in, because the next session coming in after you will hopefully have some charged laptops. Okay? So if you're using laptops today from the laptop cart, return it to the same cart, plug it in, just make sure that the session after you is going to have charged laptops. Okay? Your programs, hopefully everyone has gotten a program. We have them available out in the lobby of the auditorium. If you had a room or a session in MyPDC that was marked as TBA, it should be on the program. If you're attending formative assessment this morning or teacher web pages in the afternoon, we're in room 347. Okay? So mark that on your programs now, room 347 if you are attending formative assessment or teacher web pages, room 347. All the other rooms that were previously marked as TBA should be on your programs. Okay? The programs also have some Foursquare notes for each session. We encourage you to take some notes, mark down your Foursquares. We have room for notes in the back so that you can use that feedback throughout the day to enter it into MyPDC during the reflection time. We also have a map on page 2 of where all the rooms are for our middle school teachers who may not be as familiar with the building. Hopefully that'll lead you to your room as well. Okay. I'd like to now introduce Bridget Pilardi. She is our new instructional technologist. She comes to us from Foster as the library media specialist. If you haven't met her already, I'm sure you'll be working with her in the near future. Okay. Also, last announcement, special ed during the reflection time is going to be meeting in the LRC of the library. Okay, that's not on your program. Special ed will meet in the LRC of the library. Thanks, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Tech Tuesday, our first annual, hopefully. We'll see how today goes. I am still adjusting to my new role in the high school. It's a little bit different than my time at Foster, where, you know, a little boy's looking at the computer and he'll say, "Who is this DELL guy, and why does he get all the computers?" I said, "Yeah, but at least he's sharing them with you." So my work with the high school students has been, although extremely exciting and rewarding, and I give you so much credit for dealing with the secondary students every day. The best part of this day today, and what I'm most excited about, is that these are just the start of conversations for you to hopefully carry out through the rest of the year. There's going to be a lot of information thrown at you. We've set up the day so it's quick-paced, and so you'll be exposed to lots of hopefully new and interesting technologies. The good part about that is that we have the rest of the year to follow up with everything you're learning today. Kaylin and I are here to help you if you ever want more explanation about something you learned today, or if you want to try it out in your classroom and aren't sure how to implement it, please let Kaylin and I know, and we're here to help you. So without much further ado, I do want to introduce to you Matt Monjan. We're so lucky he's here. He is the new Director of Account Management for the country with Discovery Education. And he works with teachers in the Discovery Educator Network, which is a group of dynamic teachers who are always talking about and networking with each other about best practices in implementing technology in the classroom. If you haven't heard of it, I definitely encourage you to check it out. It's a totally free organization. People think it's like Tupperware, you know, if you join, someone gets something else, you know, you get something for it. But it's not like that at all. It's just to continue these conversations. So everything I've learned has been through Discovery, and a lot I've learned from that. So I hope that he is sharing some of that information with you too. So I'm happy you're here today. So here is my mentor, my friend, and colleague, Mr. Matt Monja.
And actually, it's the other way around. That's my mentor. That's my friend, and I learned everything from Bridget. So, by the way, today's session, I'm going to walk around a lot. There are lots of prizes right here in this front row here. So everybody sitting right here in the front 2 rows get all the prizes. Oh, sorry guys, not in the back. Just kidding. And also, just kidding about this picture. This picture actually has nothing to do with my presentation, except that I love sharks. So I just put that up there. But we'll see him reappear throughout this presentation. All right, so this presentation is all about our students today. And our students have gone through a transition of being consumers, and we as well have gone from a transition of being consumers to creators of content. So today I'm going to share with you a bunch of different ideas and show examples from lots of different schools and school districts around the country of how those students have transformed into creators of content. But first we have to establish a few things. Up until the 20th century, we were largely consumers. We were watching TV, we were reading the newspapers, we were looking at things on magazines. We didn't have iPads, we didn't have even cell phones that did all this fancy stuff on the web. We were consuming information. But now in the 21st century, we became creators of content. And there's a lot of content out there. I went out to Google's blog not too long ago and found an interesting article, an interesting blog. And basically what they said was that in 2008, their search engineers were amazed to find something. And I'm always piqued, or my interest is always piqued when I find out that Google is amazed by something. So they were amazed to find that their search engines went out and found a certain number of websites, and it hit a new milestone. So that milestone of all these different web pages that they found turned out to be 1 trillion unique URLs all at one time. So they did a search to see how many different unique web pages were out there. 1 trillion unique URLs came back, and that was in 2008. So if you look at it in a different way, in November of 2009, the Earth's population was around 6.8 billion people. And if you gave every one of those people an assignment to go through at that time, the internet, they each would have 150 unique web pages to go through to complete that particular assignment. So that's a lot of content. YouTube also has a blog, and what they said in 2009 was that around that time, 20 hours of content was being published to YouTube every minute. And that they estimated that pretty soon they would be on track to pass 24 hours of content uploaded to YouTube every minute. So what that means is, by the end of my presentation with you all, roughly 1,200 hours of content will be uploaded to YouTube by the time we get out onto our next sessions. I did a quick search to see what the most popular websites are, the top social networks. Of course, were Facebook, MySpace, and Twitter, all sites that require content to be created on their websites to be shared. So lots of content and lots of sharing out there on the internet. There's a study by the Los Angeles Times who looked at kids and the time that they spent on computers, which is growing, but they also looked at the time that they're spending on cell phones, which is exponentially growing as well. And it's interesting when you look at the cell phone data in another way. Those kids that are using the cell phones, these are kids from ages 8 to 18, are using their phones to take pictures. They're also sharing those pictures with others, so they're emailing or texting those pictures to one another. 60% of them are playing music on their phones. 46% of them are playing games on their phones, and 32% are exchanging videos on their phones. 31% are instant messaging each other, 27% go on just to do general things and on their iPhone, like do maps or whatever. 23% are accessing those social networking sites that we talked about. 21% are using email on their phones, and 11% purchase things on their phone. You know what's less than 11% on those phones? Yeah, talking on the phones, which is pretty interesting to me. These phones are secondary. I don't care to really talk on these phones, say the kids. We want to do all this other stuff. We want to create and interact with content with our phones. So if information is everywhere, I say everywhere because I can't say ubiquitous, and it can be accessed anywhere on our phone or on our mouse, how does this apply to you guys? How does this apply to education? Well, what it means is that we need to transform our way of thinking. We need to take this classroom right here and turn it into this classroom where it's collaborative. They're still going to work with paper, but they may be working with paper and their phones. They may be working with paper and their Dell laptops that Bridget mentioned. And they want to do this. So this is just a little tiny video segment that I'm going to play with you. It's called Joe's Non-Netbook. And this is Joe's explanation of this newfangled technology book.
Joe, what are you doing there?
Some videos, some pictures. I don't know.
What's going on?
Well, this is this is like a foreign tool.
Okay. What was it? You said you were having a problem earlier?
Oh, yeah. Wait, yeah. So, I want to read more about Frederick Douglass, or maybe like see a larger image. So I double-clicked on the picture, but nothing's happening. And then I can't really read the text because it's kind of small. So looking for the system preferences so I can make the text bigger, but can't find it.
Laura, you said there was a problem involved?
You can't double-click the image because it's not blue highlighted.
Oh.
And the words you don't know, they're not blue highlighted, so you can't.
Well, wait, cotton is king. That's blue.
Yeah, what are you doing there? But it's what?
It might be a link, Joe. Click on it.
What's wrong, Joe?
I don't know. There's so many
Joe, drag that picture. You can save it. That could be useful.
I don't even have a folder anywhere to put it in. Like if I drag it, it would just be like right here.
How are you doing that?
You like choosing screens?
Are you just clicking through? What's going on?
It's like microtechnology.
All right, so we'll end on the microtechnology. But I like this, it's a parody of course, but I like this because they're really expressing how they want to learn. They're expressing how they want to interact with content, with video. They want to be able to touch and move things around. They want to be able to shift that image or play with that image and edit that image. And I'm going to show you examples of that today. But at the end of the day, it's not enough to have technology in the classroom, nor is it just enough to have content or just pedagogy. We want to make sure that it's a cycle, that pedagogy is playing into the content and into the technology, and then we have this marriage of the three. So I really think that's where differentiated instruction comes into play. Providing students with multiple pathways to get to that information. Giving those auditory and those kinesthetic and those visual learners multiple ways to get to the content that you're teaching them about. What differentiated instruction does not mean in this case is creating individualized lesson plans for each of the students. I don't need to create a separate lesson plan for my auditory learners or my kinesthetic or visual learners. So to put that to the test, we're actually going to listen to some and watch some content here. And we believe at Discovery that media is a great way to give information. And the reason that we believe that is because media gives us information in multiple ways. We can watch content, we can hear the content. Sometimes if there are words up on the screen, we can see and read this content. And the more ways that we're getting access to this information, the better we are to be able to process that information. So I'm going to put that to the test. We're going to watch this video and see if we learned anything from this video. Again, that's that shark that we saw at the beginning.
The actual bite strength of sharks has intrigued scientists for years. The record to date from experiments like these is some 42,000 pounds per square inch, which surprisingly is not that much stronger than a human bite. The difference is, we don't have the deadly razored edges of sharks' teeth.
Okay, so that was 38 seconds of content about a shark, and I took that 38-second video that I downloaded from Discovery and I put it into PowerPoint. What did you guys learn about sharks? Did you guys learn anything about sharks today? Shark teeth are what? That they're sharp, yeah, right on. Very good. Did anybody notice anything interesting about those teeth or about the bite itself? It's like a human bite, exactly. So when you're chomping down on lunch today on pizza, you're chomping down, same bite strength as that shark. Or you can tell your kids, you know, look out, I can bite the same strength as that shark, so you better listen to what I'm saying. But yeah, that's interesting. Our bite strength is pretty similar to this shark bite, and our teeth are different because, you know, we don't have razor sharp teeth like they do. And that's all the information that we got from watching that video. But let me pose it to you a different way. How would we use this video? How do you think we would use this video to reach an auditory learner? Visual is easy, right? How would we use this video to reach an auditory learner? Any thoughts on that? It's okay, you're safe here.
The voiceover conveys information.
Yeah, so maybe have the students do a voiceover. Really good. Yeah, have the students narrate what's on the screen. You know, you don't have to be a super tech person to figure out how to turn down the sound and have your students narrate what's going up on the screen. Or have them create their own narration. Here's a harder one. What about a kinesthetic learner? Anybody have any thoughts on how we've used this video to reach a kinesthetic learner? And I hear you're laughing, so I think I know where you're going. Bite other students, right? Yeah, probably. That would be one way, not a recommended way, but. Well, when I asked this question not too long ago out in California, a teacher said, and they were working with elementary kids, why couldn't I just have my students chomp down on their own teeth and just feel pressure? And we can use that to activate their minds and go into learning about bite strength and force and things like that. And visual learners, we can have students go ahead and create other videos because of this video, and like many others in Discover Education, is editable so that you can take this content and make it your own. So, in addition, you also can use songs to reach all these different learners. I mean, you can use sound to reach all these different types of learners. So I went out to Philly's website, the School District of Philly, and this is one of my favorite podcasting websites. The School District of Philly has a podcasting website, and this one's from an elementary school. And these kids created their own narration and then put it out there for basically the world to see. So they married it up with images that they drew, and I'm just going to show you a few of their podcasts, or a little bit of their podcasts.
Love haikus.
And haiku is a kind of Japanese poem. It can have 3 lines with a total of 17 syllables. The first line has 5 syllables, the second has 7, and the last has 5. The poems are usually about nature and season.
Haikus have been around since the 16th century. That's the 1500s, over 500 years ago. Sometimes she's persnickety. She is wonderful by nature.
Who is she? She's nice and funny. Our daughter is in college. Loves hoops and yo-yo by Cobra.
What am I? Black, brown, little.
Okay, so they go on and talk about their animals and their favorite teachers. My favorite one's the first teacher, though, because she's persnickety. So I love that. But not only can you have students create their own podcast, you can also look at examples of songs and how teachers and students are using songs. So we're going to look at and listen to a song here. I've got this song from Discovery. It's called the Homophone Song. And then we'll look at how a teacher used the song.
I'm a homophone, baby. There's another word or two that has my sound. I'm a homophone, baby. There's another word or two that has my sound. I have my own meaning and spelling, but my sound is passed around. Now you may say blue for the color, or you may say blue for the wind. Now
Stop it. All right, so there's a teacher out in Southern California. Her name's Suzanne West. She's also a dance star like Bridget. And she took that song and she put it into PowerPoint to make it to represent it in a visual way. So not only could students hear blue and blue and where, but they could see what that looks like. So this is a little bit of her PowerPoint that she shared with everybody.
I'm a homophone, baby. There's another word or two that has my sound. I'm a homophone, baby. There's another word or two that has my sound. I have my own meaning and spelling, but my sound is passed around. Now you may say blue for the color, or you may say blue for the wind. Now you can say where, like wear your clothes, or you could say where for where you've been.
So again, another great example of reaching all these different types of learners using media to make an impact with our students with language, in this case the homophone song. Another thing that you can do is use different types of songs to reach learners is look at it from a kinesthetic point of view. So I'm actually going to play this song for you first. This is more of a high school song. It's a love song about slope, if there ever was a love song about slope. We'll listen to it, and then we'll look at it from a kinesthetic point of view.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Find the slope, take two coordinates of two ordered pair, 3, 1, 4, 6 if you dare. The label X's and Y's, hold your changing Y values over changing X values in the air. 5/1, now we're there. Yeah, the slope has got it covered. Take the rise over the run, you gotta rise before you run. Up 5 and over 1, the equation of a line. Y equals mx plus b that crosses y. That's the intercept we're trying to find. So we can always do 0, y. As long as slope is still the rise over run. And we can plug in any x's for fun and find every corresponding y. Locate any coordinate that falls on the line. P minus 0 on the y, fine.
All right, so we want you to, you like that one, all right? You like that? All right, we'll come back. You have access to that song right now in Discovery. And 38 others by this guy named Laz Buchanan. And so how would students create content to go along with that song in a kinesthetic way? Draw it. What about dance, right? What about interpretive dance? student examples, but I have some teachers doing some interpretive dance, including one from IU1, not too far away here, Stevie Klein. So I'll show you a little bit of that. So these are teachers doing an interpretive dance of that song.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Find the slope, take the coordinates of two ordered pairs. 3 comma 1 4 comma 6 if you dare. Label x's and y's, hold your changing y values over changing x values in the air. 5 over 1, now we're there. Yeah, the slope has got it covered. Take the rise over the run, you gotta rise before you run. Up 5 and over 1. The equation of a line, y equals x plus b, the cross is y. But that's the intercept we're trying to find. So we can always be 0, as long as slope is still the rise over run. And we can plug in any answers for fun and find every corresponding one below here. Every coordinate that falls on the line. B minus 0 down the y find.
All right. So this is an awesome example, I thought, of kinesthetic learners. That's Stevie Klein right here from Pennsylvania. This is Carmela, she's from Maryland. This guy's from Florida, and I don't even know who these two people are, but they had a good time. The funny thing is they only had 20 minutes to figure out how they were going to put everything together, and they could only do this in one take. So they could only film in one take, and that's what they came up with. So I thought it was a really good example. All right, so not only can teachers do some fun stuff like this, the students can also create content. This example comes from you on the other side of Pennsylvania, from Central Bucks School District in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. And these high school kids have to come up with an extra credit assignment, and they were assigned with describing macroeconomics and GDP, gross domestic product. So that was their assignment. Describe gross domestic product in any way that you want. You can create a PowerPoint presentation, you can create a video, you can create a song. And these guys chose to do a music video to the tune of Black Eyed Peas' Boom Boom Pow to describe the gross domestic product. And here's their work.
Gotta graph that. Gotta graph that. Gotta graph that. Gotta graph that. GDP. 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 That GDP. That GDP. Yo, we got that ADX curve, our GDP down below. Beside its nice level, it's short-term low. And aggregate shit, just self-supply, old man. Gotta shit that GDP, gotta know that. I got that modernist view, M equals P times Q. Then price is long run Z, and so is velocity. Increase the money supply, and let that demand curve fly. I know my GDP, that real GDP. I'm rapping now. GDP, 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 GDP. That GDP, that GDP. I got that GDP view, you know I'm smarter than you, cause everything I said came true. Since the Great Depression, y'all think you're really clever using that private sector. The government needs to intervene with some new macro scheme.
I invest when the R is down, all for the future, Cybertron. Harder, faster, better, stronger. Ocean output extra farther, cause we gotta drop the price. We gotta stop that cost rise. We gotta boost that GDP and roll the macro dice. Never wanna place if you wanna get rich. Put your hands in the air. Crouch your sleep,
Okay, so that's just a little bit of their extra credit. And I talked to the teacher who had the students put this together, and he said the most amazing thing was that when it came time for those guys to take a test, the economics test, he saw them like shaking their head around. They're writing their answers. and sing it out loud. So I thought that was great. This is one of my favorite examples. So in addition to video and image and songs and things like that, you can also use imagery to create content. So I'm going to go into Discovery Education streaming to get this content. You would go to Snap on AIU3 to log in to Discovery. So I don't have an account that way. I'm just going to go to Discovery real quick and get an image. And one of my favorite images on the site happens to be these guys here, Federal Troops at Rest. So I'm just going to go grab that image real quick. And we'll pull this guy up here. Now, all of our images are available in 3 different sizes. If I look at the large one and click on preview, it's going to pull up the image even bigger. And if I scroll over onto the image just with my cursor, you can see that it turns into a magnifying glass, which means I can zoom in. And you can do this with any image on any browser. So if I zoom in, you're going to see that this guy over here is reading a newspaper. And this was taken during the Civil War. These guys are Union troops. Maybe they're sitting in Pennsylvania right now, or maybe they're sitting in Virginia. And if they were sitting in Pennsylvania, they would be reading a newspaper from a Pennsylvania point of view, right? So they're a northern point of view. But if they were sitting in Virginia, in Charlottesville, Virginia, they'd be reading a different point of view. So I could ask my students to start to create some content around this. Come up with their own image, or come up with their own newspaper article, or their own classifieds from that point of view of the state that they're in, from Pennsylvania's point of view or from Virginia's point of view. And then let's trade those papers and talk about differences in points of view. Let's talk about contrary points of view. And let's read each other's work and discuss them. Or we can zoom around this image here and see that these guys here are playing a card game. So if I wanted to reach my kinesthetic learners, maybe I would challenge the kids to create their own game. A game that might have been played back then. Come up with use your own imagination and create that game, and then we'll all play it later on. And we can use an image to activate our students' minds and have them start to create their own content around what we're seeing up on the screen. Imagery plays really nicely into digital storytelling. Digital storytelling is another way that students can create content. By creating digital stories, students are immersed in the creative aspect, right? They are hooked into the content because they are becoming creators of that content. You're reaching all those different modalities that we've talked before. The kinesthetic, because they may have to act out something. The visual, because they're watching something. The auditory, because they're listening and speaking. And again, it encourages that creativity, which is that higher level thinking, that higher order thinking. And students become connected and around the media that they're constructing. So there are lots of different pedagogies that we can implement with regards to digital storytelling. These are just a few of them. It goes without saying that this digital storytelling is a non-linguistic representation, and it is engaging. But you can build in cues and advanced organizers in the whole creative process, setting objectives with rubrics and so forth. I wanted to show you an example here of some students' work. These are high school students out in California, and these students won a media festival not too long ago for the work that they did. So we're going to play a little bit of this video, and I just want you to see what's up on the video. Up on the mantle, these are pictures on the mantle wall, and see what's happening to those pictures. asked her to prom, they go out, they break up a week later. But these were high school kids that actually worked on the project together. They spent weeks working together, figuring out who was going to be the editor, the writer, the producers, the actors, and so forth. And I thought it was a really good example. This website, absolutely great website. If you are able to go to ali.apple.com/CBL for challenge-based learning, great lesson plans and ideas for challenge-based learning. In Discovery, you also have access to lots of different challenge-based learning things on the site. These are free contests that you can take advantage of and challenge your students to come up with solutions for some really good prizes. We're opening back up the Siemens We Can Change the World Challenge, where students come up with their own idea of how they can do something green in their neighborhood or do something to change the way that their community is using the environment. Some schools, little ones in Pennsylvania, actually came up with the idea of coming up with a way to come up with a better electrical use in the town, so they put together public service announcements on how to turn off your lights and save energy and so forth, and they actually won a prize for that. Middle school and high school kids have done even more advanced things. So that, guys, is the keynote on having students become creators of content within your classroom, and that is my information. If you have any questions going forward, I will respond to. So thank you guys for spending your morning with me so far.
Hopefully that was a good spark for some of you, and that you will be able to use one thing from today in your classroom this week, this month, this year. That's the goal for today. We did include in your programs a little sort of take notes as you go form in the 4-square format for each session. That program, that will help you fill out your evaluation forms on my PDC at the end of the day today. So please make sure you take notes as you go. So enjoy the day, and we'll be seeing you in the session, so you can go ahead and proceed to your session 1.
I couldn't get it. Is that possible?